ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन कृतितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are listening to this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are deliberating upon verses from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18th, Ashtadashodhyaya. This is the last chapter, and we had studied verses until verse number 25th. Here in this section, Jnana, Karma and Karta. These three, Bhagavan has said that he will extol them, elaborate upon them according to the differences between these three in three different ways, according to three different qualities. That is Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. And the import being, Sattvic is for moksha, and Tamasic is for bandha. So the sattvic quality, the sattvic disposition of it will lead to your spiritual emancipation. Rajasic will hold on, it will keep you stuck. But tamasic will definitely degrade you. You will not evolve. So Jnana and Karma, these two parts were taken until verse number 25th. Now the Karta part, that is from verse number 26, that we will see. So what Bhagavan has said, so which kind of Karta, the doership, so that becomes Sattvic. And what are the qualities, how it is expressed in realistic world when endowed and under the spell of Sattva, how it will be. So that is being explained in verse number 26. So what is being said here? Mukta Sango Anaham Vadi. So Sangaha and Anaham Vadi. Dhrutyutsaha Samanvitaha. Siddhyo Nirvikaraha Karta Sattvika Uchyate. So here in this verse we see that a lot of sandhis have come. So here mukta sangaha, when there is visarga and then the next is swara, so then it will express as like that yes like sign, what we call as apasarga. So here with sangaha, that has become sango, and then apasarga a has come, anahamvadi, ahamvadi. So one who is ahamvadi, one who is driven by, who is very much engrossed by his own ego and identity and cares for his name and fame that is being recognized or implanted, that is ahamvadi. That kind of person is ahamvadi. This person is that specific, that quality remains absent, then that person would be called as anahamvadi. So vadi is like his general philosophy of that individual, what he believes in, that is vada. So anahamvadi, that he doesn't believe in that idea, he is not guided by that idea, that I am this, my name is very important, my identification, my stamp, that is very important. If you lose that, if I do not get enough credit, then whatever I am doing, then it doesn't have any value. That person would be called ahamvadi. Not having that quality is anahamvadi. And before to that, here another qualification they have expressed, mukta sangaha. So see, these qualities are very extraordinary, and in the real life world, if I see such kind of person, he is no less than God, he is no less than divine. He is mukta sangaha, that is, he is free of any kind of attachment, positive or negative. Positive would be expressed as lobha, raga, and negative it would be expressed as dvesha, etc., that he doesn't like. So this idea that he is free of any kind of these attachments, mukta sangaha, he is free of attachment, he is free of this obsession about self-identity, stamping his self-identity everywhere, anahamvadi, free of this egotism, and dhruti and utsaha samanvitaha. So utsaha is enthusiasm, and dhruti is somewhat opposite to it, which dhruti means fortitude. So this faculty gives you steadiness and endurance, by which dhruti is that by which you prevail. Within there would be some forces when you are trying to do something, and your own mind it is trying to give excuses that okay, let us not do it, let us do it tomorrow, let us wait 5 minutes, and so many things. So this is dhruti, by which you endure into something. You endure into something, that is called as dhruti. So utsaha is enthusiasm, and it can be momentary. You do not have utsaha, this enthusiasm, this initiative, this positivity towards something, then it is that person is not sattvic. Utsaha, that he is very lively, he sees the positivity of it, but he is also endowed with dhruti, that is fortitude, that he is going to be consistent with that. So that enthusiasm is always going to be, then alone, having such mindset, that person would be called as sattvika karta. You have enthusiasm today, and tomorrow your enthusiasm vanishes, then that individual will not be considered as the Satvika Karta. So, Dhruti Utsaha Samanvitaha, that he is endowed, very well endowed by these faculties. He is free of attachments of any kind, and he is free of this egotism. Then another two the qualities, Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikaraha. So, Dhrutyutsaha Samanvitaha, here also there is a sandhi between Dhruti and Utsaha. So, Ikara of Dhruti and Ukara of Utsaha, these become Q. Dhrutyutsaha Samanvitaha. U, it becomes U. E and U, it becomes U. Dhrutyutsaha Samanvitaha. Similarly here, Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikaraha. So, Siddhi and Asiddhi, so that Siddhya, it becomes Siddhyo, Siddhya, Siddhyo. So, here these two, that's why Siddhya, Siddhyo, Siddhi, Siddhi and Asiddhi. Siddhya, Siddhyo, Nirvikaraha. So, what does it mean? That whether your efforts, karta, when you are doing some actions, so what it will result into, you are not too much carried away if you become successful, or do not become absolutely dejected and despondent by some kind of failure, by some kind of setbacks, if results are not according to your expectations. He is not really overpowered by that. Not only that, when he is doing karma, so he is not afraid because whether it will fail or whether, so why does he do? Because something that must be done. That is the correct thing to do. That person is driven by higher ideals. So that person who has this kind of courage, this kind of belief, this kind of self-confidence, that person is Satvika Karta. He is not driven by materiality, he is driven by spirituality. So these are the few characteristics. If any individual who is having such kind of mindset and exercising his natural duty, which has come to him, which has come to his lot, and that person, he has understood the essence, the secret of spirituality, that person will rise. This is Satvika Karta. So, not only in case of what we do, our spiritual practices or our socio-religious and family life or even workplaces, anywhere these qualities could be borne by some individual, and he can therefore turn any act, just his existence, into sadhana. Any kind of act, any kind of work, any kind of interaction, whatever, we are all the time we are doing work. Everything is work as long as our individuality exists. Our experiences, our decisions, our responses, everything becomes work. And that work can become sadhana, it can pave the way for that individual to progress. And not only this progress, sattva means it will bring bliss. That is very fundamental to it, that is very essential to it. Sattva means it will bring the bliss, it will bring the happiness. It will not be some kind of labor which doesn't exude any higher feeling, any bliss, any happiness. It is not like that you are laboring and probably result will come later on. No, it is not like that. That is something that doing that way, doing Satvika way, that karma itself will become the source of the pleasure. Now, the next verse, next type of karta, that is the Rajasika karta, and how does it translate, how does it expresses into his real life settings. That is being told here. Ragi karma phala prepsur lubdho hinsatmako shuchihi harsha shokanvitah karta rajasah parikiyatitah. So now these three, Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. So they are now this Jnana, Karma and Karta. They are being told differently, that earlier these were told to be part of any action which brings results, which bears fruit. So Adhara, Adhisthana and this Karta, Karma, Jnana, they are responsible to bear or to shape result of any action. So especially this is something which lies within our circle of influence, and that is being discussed here. So 5 factors they were discussed, that Adhisthana, Karta, Karanam, Cheshta and Daiva. So Daiva is not within our control right now. Cheshta is, which is done by the doer, Karta. So Karta is already here. Therefore Cheshta is Karma, and Adhisthana is the context, and Karanam is the instruments. So Karta, Karma and Karanam, among the many other things, so Jnana, so has Bhagwan has chosen. So because he says in the 18th verse, through Jnanam, Jnayam and Parigyata, they are responsible for to inspire any action. And Karanam, Karma and Karta, by these three, any Karma Sangra or any Karma is done. So Karma Sangra is what you experience as Prarabdha as well as your Samskara. That is Karma Sangraha. That's what we are become of. And he chooses Jnana, Karma and Karta to significantly, because these are impacting, which are giving rise to, giving shape to whole setup. So that is being discussed. So Jnana and Karma, he said, now Karta is being explained. So these 3 Kartas, they are of the 3 different kinds. The Sattvika, which is just told, then Rajasika and Tamasika. So Rajasika, so Sattvika Karta was told about Mukta Sangha, he is free of attachment. But this person is, Rajasic person is Ragi. Ragi means one who is driven by his passion, by his attachment, by the attraction. Ragi. So Raga, that is something, a very predominant factor when this person is engaging into any action. Raga. What lures him, what attracts him, what interests him, and that he wants to do. So it is really contradicting in, if we say that today's generation or people's way of work, no, I do not like it. I don't have mood. So what these people are driven by their likes and moods. And this is what scripture is saying, no, that is not, this person is going to remain stuck. He is not going to improve. The person who can rise above it, he alone can, whether you like it or not. That second other thing is called as discipline. People do not like discipline. They want to have this mood, and by mood, they are only concerned about their own enjoyment and happiness. No, this kind of work, this cannot give rise to any great value. It cannot be contributory to informing your character and paving the way for you to grow. It cannot. So Ragi, and karma phala prepsu. Prepsu means who is desirous of. Desirous of what? Karma phala. Totally taken away by this desire. What action is doing, so what phala it will bring. Whereas it was said in the about Satvika Karta, Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikara. So even if he understands that there would be a siddhi, but he is unaffected by it. And here the person is karma phala prepsu, lubdho, one who is taken over by the lobha. So these people generally get cheated. We know that because if somebody is shown the allure, and this person generally make the mistakes, and they lose them lose their own even the principle what they have. Karma phala prepsu, lubdha, these are the qualities. So he is driven by his passions, attractions, driven by what the fruit might be promising, and if it is over promising, he is taken over by that greed, lobha, and in another way, in the negative scenario, hinsatmaka. This person is driven by vengeance, hinsa, violence. Anything might be the reason that other person or other thing, he is bitten by that. And in that fashion, he is going forcefully after something, hinsatmaka. And another quality they add to it, ashuchihi, that this person lacks the sense of purity. He lacks that sense of purity. So he would be unscrupulous about his ways of work. The approaches he is taking to attain something, he would be unscrupulous, ashuchihi. And therefore, when its results would come, if they are according to his expectation, so harsha. And if they are not, then shoka, harsha shokanvitaha. This is the nature of that individual, harsha shokanvitaha karta. And this person is widely known as rajasika karta. So this kind of person who engages with this kind of mindset, so definitely it is not going to contribute, it is not going to elevate him. He is going to remain stuck. He is not going to grow. And if he doesn't improve, he is sure to denigrate himself, he is sure to degenerate himself. Harsha shokanvitah karta, rajasah parikirtitah. So this person to become sattvika, he must rise above his attachment, his greed, his so much be minding about the results, and he must also drop any unscrupulousness, and he must be righteous, and he must drop that vengeance, that negative ill feeling which might be driving him. It might be insult, it might be jealousy, it could be anything. And then only this person would be rise above his harsha and shoka, which will grieve him and which will again colorize his any further course of action. Then only this person can become sattvika karta. Driven by this, embedded into this person, meaning that here though we are talking, Bhagavan is talking about karta, we are not always same. Sometime I might be good, but another time I am not. So this is how, then if I am doing something in that bad mood, something like that akin to like a rajasika karta, I must identify it that this will not cause any growth to me. I must rise above it. I must shed this gloom and I must try to embed myself into the jnana, and then I will be a satvika karta, and driven by then the right virtue, right wisdom, it will cause my growth. Then I engage into anything. So same person in a different set of scenarios where his general awareness and consciousness is, where it has fallen or where it has risen, he can be a satvika karta. So Arjuna, at one point of time, he has become covered by grief and delusion. He has become a tamasic person. So he can become rajasic and he can become sattvic. So this is the rajasic karta. Now, the third kind of doership, when we engage into action, and this is the worst kind, and this is surely opens way for degeneration and deterioration. We would be degrading ourselves in general. And even this happens to individuals. They are very good, sometimes having great future, great potential, but they come to such kind of context and there's some kind of circumstances, and they fall in their own trap of thinking and attitude. They feel that it would be better I degenerate myself. And how that happens, how that translates into real life, that is being told here. So, what kind of mindset covers, envelopes, and radiated by such individual who becomes the tamasika karta? Ayukta prakrutah stabdhah shatho naishkruti kolasah vishadi dirgha sutri cha karta tamasa uchyate. This is tamasa karta. So first idea here is ayuktah. Ayuktah. So ayuktah, literally it should mean the person who is detached from the yoga, that who is not in equilibrium, who is not in his senses, who is not able to think through correctly, who is separated from the wisdom. Ayuktah. Maharaj has translated here is unsteady, definitely. So there is nothing very sure guidance, very sure clear path before that individual. And he is covered by tamas now. Prakrutah. So Maharaj has translated, taken his as vulgar. Yes, vulgar is one another translation. We will say just opposite to spiritual. This is prakruta, given to materiality. Given to materiality. Sanskrita, prakruta. One way which is well cultivated. Shubha karyena krutah sanskritah. Samyak karyena sanskarita, that is sanskritah. And this is prakrutah, given to materiality, given to colloquialism. So this person is superficial and only driven by his immediate results and interests. That person is prakrutah. How does he behave? Stabdha. He becomes arrogant, very arrogant, becomes short-sighted, and he wants quick results. That is stabdha. Shatha. That means this person gives to dishonest ways, into cheating. That is shatha. So naishkrutika, that he is given to all kind of negativity and not doing any work. Naishkrutika. Alasaha, given to indolence, slothfulness. That is alasaha. Vishadi, that is despondent, always grumbling, always complaining, always crying. Vishadi. Dirgha sutri, that nothing, that brevity, he do not know brevity, everything drags upon. Nothing he can conclude, nothing he can wrap, nothing he can take to conclusion. fairly, squarely, he is not able to do that Dirgha Sutri. So many are the qualities by which that karta, any doership, when you are fallen trap to any kind of this mindset, then that is the tamasa karta. What do? You are taken away from the wisdom. Yoga, you are not able to clearly think about. You become very short-sighted, given to just materiality and your immediate goal. You become crass, prakrutah. Stabdha, you become very arrogant. Shatha, you give to cheating. Naishkrutika, you become negative about putting your work into anything. You become indolent, lazy, alasaha, and vishadi, that you become despondent. And dirgha sutri, everything drags on. So, you are not able to conclude, you are not able to wrap fairly and squarely within the given the time or appropriate time. So, this becomes the trap, this becomes the gateways for any individual to fall into tamasa, and given to these qualities, that individual opens way for his degeneration, giving into this. You might have come out about these kinds of quality in your own life, in your own experiences. Sometimes you feel like that. So way is that you must rise above it. So you must understand that this is not I should choose and stick with. This can never bring any value. This cannot be the way. So there are times in every individual, all three gunas are present. Nobody is absolutely sattvic, nobody is absolutely rajasic, nobody is absolutely tamasic. So Sri Ramakrishna says that these gunas, they must be turned their way, that even rajasa could be utilized, your tamasa could be utilized, or even sattva, therefore definitely it could be utilized. Even sattva has binding quality, even it can be bondage. Like rajasi is bondage, like tamasa is bondage. So they themselves, because they are material, gunas are material. So they themselves are not perfect. But if you exploit them according to their own virtue, they can pave way for your enlightenment, for your spiritual emancipation, for your spiritual growth. That is possible. So you must think. So if you are in tamasa, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is being said, we see that Sri Ramakrishna says that even tamasa could be turned toward God. It could be turned toward God, that when you must be passionate about your devotion, in practicing your devotion, that you can bring that tamasa when your own thoughts are tormenting you, that you bring that tamas. What that tamas? Like that extremity that he said, like when robbers are attacking, what clamor, uproar it causes, that maro, kato, this kind of voices are simply coming out. So you bring that fury into in your passion when your mind is becoming so dejected that no, I must raise myself. So even that tamasa could be exploited. Tamasa could be exploited and turned toward God. So tamasa is necessary. Tamasa is inertia. So with tamasa, you are able to sleep. If tamasa wouldn't be there, you will not be able to sleep. With rajasa, you would be able to act. With sattva, you would be able to understand. But all three things are necessary. Steadiness is necessary. Frequency or motion is necessary. Light is necessary. Sattva, rajasa, tamas, all three are necessary. All three should be turned toward God. But in this way, as Gita is saying us, if you fall into its dark door, dark trap, it can be lead way to degeneration. You must become alert that this is taking you into deep tamas. This will not result into any higher value. This is tamasika karta. Then here in this next verse, so jnana, karma and karta, which Bhagavan intended to explain, that he has explained. Now he says in the next verse, buddher bhedam dhruteschaiva gunatas trividham shrunu prochyamanam sheshena pruthatvena dhananjaya. So Bhagavan here says that buddhi and dhruti also, there are the two faculties. Buddhi is the decisive faculty. When mind is oscillating, buddhi is nishchayatmika. It tells clearly what is what. It is able to differentiate. That is buddhi. And dhruti is fortitude by which you can endure, stick to. You are able to commit to something and consistently pursue something. That perseverance comes from this fortitude, this dhruti. So these also, as per three gunas, gunataha trividham shrunu. So according to gunas, in three ways, I am going to explain you how buddhi also and dhruti also, it could be of three ways. Satviki, Rajasiki and Tamasiki. So buddhi or dhruti. You see that which kind of buddhi, whether it would be liberating you or the same buddhi endowed with tamasa, it can go to degeneration. So be clear how you are thinking, how your buddhi. Buddhi itself is called as satvika faculty. Manas is called as the rajasika faculty. But here ahankar is called as the tamasika faculty. But here Bhagavan, he is saying, see, buddhi itself, it can work or it can project itself according to the predominance of any of the gunas, sattva, rajas or tamas. Prochyamanam, that I declare that I will tell you this asheshena without leaving anything, that is comprehensively, exhaustively, and with all severally in various ways, pruthatvena. He Dhananjaya. So buddhi and dhruti, that will be told in the subsequent verses. So which buddhi is satvika buddhi? So very interesting. So this verse, the 30th verse, that is describing the satvika buddhi. What is being said? Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha yavetti buddhi sa partha satviki. What is he saying? That pravritti, in any action, nivritti, that a path of suppose giving up something. So pravritti not necessarily samsara, nivritti not necessarily adhyatmikta, not necessarily. Asserting or winding up, in both of these things, where you want to push somewhere aggressively or you want to roll back, you want to step back. In both cases, pravritti or nivritti, karya or akarya, that you consider something action or you consider that something inaction is your duty, akarya. So what you consider as akarya, that you should not do. What you consider as karya, so deciding this thing, buddhi would be used. When pravritti and nivritti you would be exercising, buddhi would be used where you should act, where you should roll back. Because buddhi's job, it is its job to clearly show the individual the distinction. And third thing is fear and fearlessness. What you should fear and where you should be fearless. So what you should fear? Definitely you should fear in doing something in virtuous thing. You should definitely shun from it. You should fear when you are trying to unnecessarily encroach upon others' right. Yes, you should fear that. You should fear that you would be unknowingly harming someone. That you should fear that lest you might be doing that thing. Their fearlessness is not wanted. But where somewhere means you have to speak truth. And you should have then fearlessness. So where fear and where fearlessness, you must practice. Or where you should have that, Buddhi will tell. And in these three kinds of scenarios, this is general philosophy, this action, and this mental attitude. So, which Buddhi can explain you very clearly what is bandha and what is moksha. Whether pravritti or nivritti, whether what will give you, what would be binding, what will cause bondage, bandha, or what would lead to your liberation, moksha. If that buddhi can tell you, then that buddhi is sattvika buddhi. Similarly, in karya and akarya, in bhaya and abhaya, where your buddhi can tell you very clearly what would cause your moksha, liberation, spiritual growth, or your spiritual, or it is bondage. If your buddhi is able to clearly distinguish and guide you correctly, then that buddhi would be called as sattvika buddhi. This buddhi would be called as sattvika buddhi. If your buddhi, such is the instrument which is of utmost importance while deciding anything in the course of action, if that itself is clouded, then how would you be taking your decisions? Even they would be wrong. So buddhi itself must be free of the influence of rajas or tamas. So similarly, then what will happen? That if your buddhi is influenced and rajas is dominating it, how would it translate into everyday experience? How will it project? So here in sattva is responsible for very clear-cut, unclouded judgment. That is sattva is giving. What will rajasa will do? It will turbid it. That clarity will be clouded a bit. Some kind of muddiness will enter. What will happen then? Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karya cha karyameva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. In dharma and adharma, in karya and akarya. Karya is kartavya, which is your duty. In a context. Dharma is similarly your duty, which will lead to moksha. So karya can be more of a thing without the context of spirituality. In your kartavya, your duty, in action, in any empirical secular context. Dharma especially, which has religious and ultimately spiritual end. That is dharma. In both cases, those are duties. Dharma is not just a religious work. The person, whether he is seeing it from the spiritual point of view or not. So dharma therefore and karya. So therefore he has used both these cases. So where you are talking purely something empirical, worldly, or you are seeing from the perspective of the spiritual end, that is dharma. So dharma and karya, dharma adharma and karya akarya. In both these cases, what happens? If your buddhi is infused with this rajasa, what will happen? Ayathavat prajanati. Yathavat means as it is, as you are supposed to understand. And ayathavat, it will not give you correct understanding. That kind of scenario, that kind of decision, that kind of conclusion you will arrive at ayatavat prajanati. That prajanati here, prajanati is not from in that sense that you beget. Jana means giving birth to. Jana, this is jna, that is to know. Janati, that you know it. How? As you are supposed to understand, you are not knowing like that. Ayathavat, not yathavat. If you would know yathavat as you were supposed to understand, then it would be sattvika buddhi. But when you miss that mark, you do not understand how you are supposed to understand it, and that is the influence of rajasa. It swerves you, it misdirects you, it leads you in some other direction. You are not perfectly hitting the center. So this happens due to rajasa, one way or other. And when your buddhi would be giving ayathavat prajanati, janati means somebody knows. Prajanati means he knows prakarshena. That is, he would be like forcefully, he would be confident that this is right. His buddhi is clouded, it is taken over by the rajasa, and he would not be able to think very clearly, very perfectly. He is under the influence of his passions, ragi, karma phala prepsur, lubdho, hinsatmaka ashuchi. That kind of karta, and he is taken over by his that violence, kama or krodha, lobha or matsara, mada or moha. And when he is taken over by these kinds of things, then he would not be able to clearly see ayathavat prajanati. This is the hallmark. As you were supposed to understand it, you didn't understand it likely, and you missed the mark. You're missing the mark. This is rajasa. Tamasa is one step further than that. So I always like to understand tamasa. That is because like sattva, tamasa is very clear. Very clear. That's why understanding tamasa is something like that clarity or distinctness is there. Rajasa is always oscillating because it is given by this hyper vibration, hyper oscillation. So rajasa is always confusing. That confusion is the nature of rajasa. But tamasa is as confident as sattva. He has 200% confidence. And here that Bhagavan has used that phrase. We will see these words. Here, Rajasic person, he could not understand what is dharma and adharma clearly. So he missed the mark. Maybe 30 degree he is missing the mark. Okay. 45 degree he might be missing the mark. 45 degree this way, 45 degree that way. All right. Dharma or karya. Dharma or kartavya. Okay. Now this person. Wonderful. He says, adharmam dharmam iti. So this person, to adharma itself, he understands that is the dharma. Okay. Manyate tamasa vrta. He consider manyate. It doesn't become dharma. He consider. It is his opinion. It is the projection of his own mind, fabrication of his own mind. Manyate tamasa vrtaha. Avrutta by tamasa. That inertia, that gloom, that darkness. Manyate tamasa vrtaha. Then, and here Bhagavan uses that phrase, sarvarthan viparitanscha. What does it mean? Sarva arthan. All, by all meanings, by by all Veds in fully that there is not one possibility is left of being he considered that he could be somewhat right or near that direction. Sarvarthan viparitanscha, 180-degree difference. He is not missing the mark by 30 or 45 degree. He is 185. He is shooting someone behind him. His target is in front of him. He is shooting someone behind. Sarvarthan viparitanscha, perfectly he will. To the snake he will call rope. Not the somebody misunderstands snake in rope. He is viparit. He will consider rope to the snake. Sarvarthan viparitanscha, that is perfect. So this moha, that is viparita jnana, that is moha. Moha is not attraction. For attraction word is raga. Moha means when you have viparita jnana. You don't want to, you want to have first decision and then you want to have derivation for it. The whole logic of it. How did you deduce? You are so stubborn. You don't want, there you have closed all doors on all any reasoning, any scope of reconsidering your position or any analysis. No, not interested. You have perfectly understood. He is like 180-degree and full accelerator. That is tamasa. Very difficult when that person is tamasa. If I am in that tamasa, ghor tamasa, there is no salvation. There is no salvation. Unless that tamasa is exhausted, its influence upon me. Then only there would be some scope of probably I might try if there are some sanskaras, if there is external help, guru, or some shubha karma is there, some shubha place is there, some auspicious time is there, some good people I met. They advise, they help. Otherwise, there is no escape from tamas. Because this person is not in any position to understand, reconsider, or re-evaluate his position. So what he will destroy himself absolutely. That is tamas. He will not wait. He will not wait until anything, any possibility of survival is there. He will destroy himself absolutely. That is tamasika buddhi. By such buddhi, that buddhi is telling him completely opposite thing. Dharma, adharmam dharmamitiya manyate tamasa vrta sarvarthan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. That buddhi is tamasika buddhi. Completely giving him confidence in absolutely opposite direction. Absolutely wrong thing. That is tamasika buddhi. How one some person will realize that that I am making such a dangerous and irreparable mistake? Your actions, results will prove you. They will tell you. You can see what kind of person you are becoming. Whether you are still, so here, if you are prompted by this tamasika buddhi, you will become tamasika karta also. You will become ayukta, prakruta, stabda, shato, naishkrutika, alasaha, vishadi, durga sutri. If you are indulging it, then definitely no, your way of thinking is not right. You must take a pause. You rather choose a confusion, which is the hallmark of rajasa. You try to do something, you wait, you have some patience, and then it will lead your way to sattva, that enlightenment will come. So, this is the tamasika buddhi. Under its sway, how this is how person behaves. So, in next class, we can take up this next set of verses where Bhagavan describes dhruti, that is This is endurance, fortitude. And he will also, sukha also, he will take up. So by this way, until what we see, this until 40th verse. So we are now at 32nd verse we have completed. So from this few, about 6-7 verses are there. And then he will have few set of verses according to your varna, swabhava gunaihi. So that would be discussed, and then there is from this 45 verse, from verse number 45, this set of beautiful verses, a very crux of all this philosophy of Gita, that we see. Very lofty verses, very grand verses, but very simple. Not much now philosophy is there. It is like conclusions. And that way we'll see. And it will take us slowly towards the conclusion of this beautiful dialogue called Bhagavad Gita. We will take a break here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you, everyone.